When I got to Holloway, and the units immediately above the mother and baby unit, I heard this, inmates screaming in the middle of the night, shouting and banging the doors. It keep me awake throughout the night most of the time. So I kept on wondering, what is going on? It was then, I was informed that, most of them are suffering from the effects of the drugs. I felt really, really bad about it. I felt really, really bad, and I said, oh, so this is, what happens to them when they take this drug.
Almost 1 in 5 women in prison in Britain today is a Nigerian woman convicted of smuggling drugs into this country. Recent years have seen soaring inflation, poverty and corruption in Nigeria. Although not itself a drug-producing country, Nigeria is a nation of traders, and the latest trade is drugs. The couriers, many of them women, are even prepared to risk their lives by smuggling the drugs inside their bodies. The government, embarrassed by the large numbers of Nigerians imprisoned abroad, has formed the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to wage war on drug trafficking.
You're young and ambitious. You want success and all the good things life can offer. Flashy cars, luxurious home, plenty of money.
Nigeria is made up of over 80 million people, as I've been told, and with that large number of people, if all others, the majority of the individuals are struggling to make it, all contributing their own quota to the development of the nation, it's a pity that a few want to, want to cut their journey very short by becoming very rich in a matter of days through drug trafficking. It's very unfortunate.
Don't even think about it.
This campaign is principally directed against men and implies that the motivation is greed. But the women who are caught with drugs tell a very different story.
This is a message from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
You see, my husband lost his job, and I had to take care of the kids. And on top of that, my landlord, kept on pestering my life, that he wanted to increase his rent, with 100% increase, and that he wanted 2 years rent for that. And there was no way I could get this money.
One of the most awful things is that so many women have become involved in crime since time immemorial, because of being poor, because of being powerless, because of being exploited. And in fact, this is a new form of prostitution. It's a way of using women who are poor, who are vulnerable, to commit crime.
I approached several friends, and because of the situation in the country, no one was willing to, give me anything, even lend me anything, So just along the line, a lady just approached me and said, well, you have a little baby, and there's something you can do.
In the last year, Her Majesty's Customs and Excise seized £52 million worth of drugs at Heathrow, Gatwick and Stansted airports. That's £1 million worth of drugs each week. Customs continue to run a careful check on baggage, but many couriers are now smuggling drugs by swallowing them or otherwise concealing them internally. So body searches, urine tests and X-rays have become commonplace.
Drug smuggling knows no barriers of race, colour, class or creed. We do target flights. It would be very foolish of me to pretend that we do not target flights. We look at the risks posed by those flights, and it's not just black flights that we target. We target flights from source countries, we target flights from conduit countries.
she explained to me that it is drugs, cocaine, and that because I have a baby, no one will suspect me, and that I could go, and she was going to offer me for, £1,000, for 200 grams.
In this prison, 50% of the women are Nigerians convicted of drug trafficking.
I came to prison 89, and I was charged for 2 kilos of heroin, and I got 8 years for it. The bag was given me by a friend, that I should, with a full stop on it, that I should give it to somebody here when I was coming to London.
Has anyone given you anything for anybody in this country? No presents, no parcels, no nothing at all?
When they caught me with the drug, they gave me a solicitor, and I told the solicitor that I don't know anything about the drug, that is in the suitcase.
Did you know what would happen if the drugs were found?
Well, initially I expressed my fear, because I said, well, I don't know, because I know how serious the Nigerian government, announce on the radio, on the television and everything. But the lady assured me that there wouldn't be any problem, And even when I told her that, what if I'm caught? She said, well, they may put you on the next available plane back to Nigeria. You see, she never told me anything about prison. She never even told me I would be arrested in the first place. I thought, it was just as easy as she told me.
This woman was a family friend. She normally travels to London. When I lost my husband, she came around and said if I would want to go with her. She said it will make a big difference since I am in this type of stress after my husband's death. And when we got there, I was so excited. Then when I got to the immigration, they started questioning me. Have you been here before? I said, no. Do you come with who? I said, with a friend. What do you have in the bag? I said, it's my friend's stuff. She gave it to me to hold. So they said, you don't know what is in it. I said, no. What is your friend? Then I turned around. I didn't see her. I said, she was here in the queue. Then after some time, they said, we are going to look into the bag.
That's it.
So they forced it open. And I brought this parcel wrapped with something like brown paper or cement paper or something. They opened it. There was a green stuff grinded like in powder. So they said, what is it? I said, I don't know. I don't know what it is. They said, so they came, there were about many of them, they came about 4 or 5.
The other one started about there. No. They didn't cut there. There? Oh, hang on, you can take them all both out from, you're not going to take them from the middle? No. Okay, so you want about there then. About there? Yeah. How was that for a wreck?
They said there's cannabis. In my whole life, I've never had anything like cannabis.
If they've actually been found in possession of drugs, then there is no option but for them to actually plead guilty to the offence. And then what happens is that we have a very clearly laid down guideline for the courts as to how they sentence in these cases. And so you're talking about automatic imprisonment, and you're talking about imprisonment usually for quite a serious number of years. The more potent the drug, the longer they will serve in prison.
I couldn't see how I should plead guilty when I didn't know what it was. Even some inmates were saying they pleaded guilty. I said it could be all right if I really knew what I was doing. There's nothing will ever stop me from pleading guilty, but I'll not plead guilty when I don't know.
So the solicitor told me that, well, since I came to London, and they found something like that in my bag, that I have to go guilty, I said, well, but this thing is not, the suitcase doesn't belong to me. Why should I go guilty for something I don't know about? He said, no, you have to go guilty, and tell them that, well, you've is the law that if you come to Britain with anything, if they find it on you, you have to go guilty.
Of course, it's one of our principles of law that ignorance is never a defence to crime. But what is more difficult is about the issue of intent. Did somebody really intend to do what they are charged with? And sometimes, of course, the women who are used in these crimes actually are duped. They are taken a loan of. I mean, we were prepared to believe it in cases where other people are used, but perhaps there's an unwillingness to believe it when it's in the drugs context.
They gave me 8 years, I started crying in the court, being that my solicitor told me that I can't get anything less than 2-3 years, or if it's too much, 3.5 years, that I didn't expect I would get up to, 8 years.
I came to realize that the woman really used me, and there was no how God was going to work miracle for the judge to understand what really happened. And it was only my God and myself that knew what happened.
Hello. Is Olga Heaven?
Olga Heaven is the director of an organisation called Hibiscus. With offices in London and Lagos, she often provides the only link between the prisoners in England and their families back home. The convicted women here are known within the system as foreign national deportees, and as such, they have fewer rights than British prisoners convicted of the same offence. They serve their sentences in full, in closed prisons, and within hours of their release, they are deported.
I begin to focus on Nigerian women because they are the larger proportion of foreign nationals in prison at the moment. My aim was to ensure they get some kind of equal treatment in this country. The whole thing about the trial situation where the lack of proper representations in court, the situation where they have no social services department to help them out with their children back there, the fact that they don't want their family to know about the imprisonment, and all this together is difficult for them to accept that they're now faced with this situation where their hands literally tied behind their backs with absolutely no kind of responsibility whatsoever towards their families.
This parole system as well for the deportees. At least second parole, a person like me, since I've been in prison, I've not had visits because my family doesn't live here.
That's right.
Okay, I even told them I left my son when he was 6. He'll be 10 this year now. There's no access. I can't even write to him.
Who is keeping him?
It's with the dad. The dad is looking after him. But still, I don't hear from him often. So I don't know what is happening. When they came to interview me about my parole, my second parole, and I explained all these things to them, that this is my first offense. I've never been in prison before. I've never had any contact with the police before. I don't even know how the police station looks like till I came to England.
Things are gradually changing. Wait until November, you'll see. It will change. This was the opportunity that you had to do something about it, and you just won't talk. This thing's killing me, right? And I come in here and I do, what can I do? It's down to you.
We're actually creating a real problem for ourselves in our own prisons, because the women who are serving the longest sentences, for the most part, are these women who are on these drugs convictions. They feel a great sense of grievance because their punishment is so much greater than that of any of the women who are British indigenous women. Because, of course, they haven't got their families visiting. They don't get to see their children. They don't get home visits. They don't get parole. They miss out on so many of the things that at least can somehow reduce the horror of imprisonment and loss of liberty. They're serving their sentence a long way away from home, and so they're actually in exile as well as in a prison. And so the punishment is actually twice as great.
That was after the list was sent to you in London, and so you've got an extra 4 that want to see you.
Okay, wait, you put next? She's not coming?
No, that's one of the ones we mentioned that is likely to be done. We were asked to see if it was possible to set up a network in Nigeria to give us some information about the backgrounds of the people who are actually appearing in court and who are in prison. Basically, the most important thing was to get home circumstance reports so that they would have the opportunity for parole, or at least the parole board would know as much about the foreign nationals as they did about British nationals.
Most of us who were in prison then were first offenders who did not know the impact of drug trafficking in foreign lands, and most of us were desperate, one way or the other, to solve our financial difficulties.
Now, we've written out to Nigeria, and the 2 social workers in the Lagos office have had difficulty in finding exactly where the village is, where your parents are.
So I saw you last time.
Yeah, I know, but unfortunately, either we misspelled the name of the village, but they're having difficulty finding it.
Are they these people of your country? Are they going to be treating us as they are treating your children too?
Yep.
They say we are not entitled for anything. Even from home leave, we are not entitled for it.
Right, let's be honest and tell you exactly what the situation is. As far as going to open prison is concerned and getting home leave is concerned, at the present moment the answer is 40-40s, no. You can't have home leave and you can't go to open conditions.
I've been here for almost 2.5 years now. I've been in the closing prison. So I need a fresh air, We are a human being. We are not a dog.
The drug barons are constantly looking for new couriers. Elizabeth, with no husband and 3 children to support, was an obvious target.
Then she invited me a day before I left Nigeria, right? So she did an example to swallow some, and then there's a man, she said we could be going together. Then it swallowed a lot anyway. So through this, I didn't think there'd be anything harmful in it.
And how much did they offer you?
Just £400.
Did you know what it was?
No, I didn't. Not until when I got to London, through the customs.
What did you think it was?
I don't even ask anyway. So not until when I got there.
Did you know that it was drugs?
No.
Why did you think you had to swallow it?
Well, according to their attitude and the way they even swallowed it, so I don't think it's something serious, right? This just to be an helper to them. So I don't think so deep about it anyway. I was arrested and I was being taken inside the customs section. He said they think I've got some packages in me. He said there are some Nigerians who swallowed drugs to this country. They did the X-ray.
If you look all around here, these are all the packages which are in tied up condoms actually, and these all condoms contained a lot of cocaine. There are about 3 to 4 grams of cocaine in each package. There is always a danger that one of these packages would burst and erode inside, and some of them have lasted 14 and 15 days to produce them.
To take me 6 days to pass just 69 packages. Then when it was being out, they took everything to the laboratory.
They go into this flue over here, and they go and pass their feces along with whatever else they have swallowed. This system will then contain all the feces as well as all the condoms into it. And there's a facility here that we switch on the water, and there's a probe here. With this probe here, we can wash the feces and try to separate the feces, and they will secure the packages. But these are the condoms containing cocaine produced from a female courier. One of the condoms had bursted. Now it's eroded. That means the cocaine has gone into the blood system, which becomes extremely dangerous. Also, they endanger their lives this way. We haven't thank God for it, anyone who has died in our custody, but I'm aware of a number of drug smugglers who have died.
Most of the couriers are expendable, and the barons put as many as 10 onto one flight, calculating that even if half are arrested, they still make a profit. The drug Elizabeth carried was only 5% pure. The man travelling with her almost certainly carried the high-quality drugs and used her as his decoy.
What happened to the man?
They checked for the man. They saw his name on the manifest, but he has checked out. We couldn't locate him because there is none of his address with me or phone number. So there's no way to locate him inside the country. So I was just facing the problem alone. So this made me to feel to hate myself that time. What is really happening, which I never planned for in my life.
Coming in and going out.
Isaac and Simeon are Olga's social workers in Lagos working with prisoners' families. Accurate information about these families isn't easy to come by, as many of the women don't even want their relatives to know they're in prison.
The most important thing is to try and calm down, to ease up on the isolation that they suffer. And I think that's the only way we can do it, is by setting up the base here for them. And also to begin to try and educate a lot of the Nigerian community about what imprisonment is all about, because they've got a very strong stigma about prison on the whole. And because of that, the women tend to suffer twice as hard. Sometimes I would hear the news of deaths in the family, and they don't want the mother to know. And it's difficult for me to face her when I get back and not tell her. Does his mother know that her mother is dead?
No, she hasn't known.
This boy's mother is in prison in Britain. Her mother died 3 days ago.
I believe it will shatter her.
Don't you want your mother to know?
Yes.
You do want her to know?
No, I don't want her to know.
Why?
Because when a sister wrote us, okay, she replied that if her mother died, she won't come to Nigeria again.
She wouldn't come back to Nigeria?
Yes.
But surely she don't mean that.
She means it. She means that she won't come to Nigeria again if her mother died.
But don't you think I should tell her that her mother is dead? I mean,
no, I don't want you to tell her.
How do you feel? How do you feel about it now? What's happening with you?
I'm not very happy at all when her mother died, because she's the one that taking care of me. Since that she has died now, it's the landlord's wife that taking care of me, giving me food. Sometimes, if I want to go to school, I didn't have money, I usually come to this man and she give me some money.
To Mr. Isaac?
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't matter how we look at it, she's going to be deported back to this country anyway. So it's a situation where I think it could help.
And my uncle said that she can poison herself if she heard that
she'll kill herself if she heard her mother is dead.
Yes.
Yeah, my mother died while I was in prison, and all my properties, since my husband was no more alive, my mother was the only person that was taking care of the family, and she died, and everything gone. That was enough shame that my mother died. I couldn't see her face, and I couldn't touch her. I couldn't use my hand to say, "Oh, look at my mother dying, clean your face," and do all these things. So they carried her away, and maybe they thought I was careless. I didn't take care of her. So they took all her belongings, leaving the empty house in a shattered form. Then it was enough shame.
I like to go to boarding school because they'll help me.
What is the rough cost of it?
200 to 300
a year.
A year.
But it's quite clear that he is distressed. But can we take that responsibility?
I think we have to sift out, needs. Some will be greater than others, but his now, to me, appears to be the greatest at the moment.
Right.
For any mother, imprisonment means separation from her children. But these families are thousands of miles apart.
Immediately after they find that money, they didn't even want to know how that money came about. They didn't even want to know whether it's a genuine money or a money that had been sweated for years. Because my mom had been doing this business not today, not yesterday. It has taken us years to accumulate that money.